So today's reading has a lot to do with church and what church is meant to be like. Peter starts off by talking about how Jesus is the living stone, the cornerstone. He's been rejected by people. The stone was initially dismissed. It became a stumbling block for people. In other words, people didn't understand Jesus when he came along. They didn't think he was who he was claiming to be. They didn't think he was sent from God, and so they rejected him. And we know that they did that by putting him to death. But that stone that was rejected by people was chosen by God. God raised him from the dead again, and he became the cornerstone, the first fruits of a new creation, the first person to be resurrected, and the kind of the pioneer of everything that is to come for those of us who worship and follow him afterwards. And he's saying that now we are the living stones that make up the church. So all of Jesus' followers become like living stones in a building, and together we make the temple of God. And that's the big thing that I want to get across from this passage today, is the togetherness that makes God's people God's people. It's not that I'm a Christian and you're a Christian and I'll go off and tell people about Jesus, you go off and tell people about Jesus. Is that we together are a people, and we're called to love one another, and we're also called to do this stuff together, and it becomes a lot easier when we do. And so here, all the imagery about you're a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, all of that is once you were not a people, now you are the people of God. Once you've not received mercy, now you have received mercy. You are part of a people. And the place that we earth this is in the local church. And so if you're anything like me, you might find church sometimes a little bit boring. You might find some of the people in the church sometimes a little bit annoying, or a little bit weird, or a little bit like, why the heck do I have to turn up to this place on a Sunday? What is the point of this? And we can probably all relate to that. And every church, there's a little saying that if you found a perfect church, you couldn't join it because you would spoil it. Every church has a list of things that we could write about what's wrong with it. If we look at the church in the UK at the moment, we could write a long list of all the things we're doing wrong. Nevertheless, the church is God's people. He hasn't given up on his people. He loves the church, and he asks us also to choose to love the church. And so when we're umming and ahhing about, shall I go to church this weekend? What's in it for me is usually the question we're asking. And perhaps there's another way to look at it. If I don't go to church this weekend, I'm not going to be able to love any of my fellow brothers and sisters. I'm not going to be able to serve them. What if they need me to? What if there's someone there who needs a kind word of encouragement, or who needs a prayer? If I don't turn up on Sunday, I'm not going to be able to play my role in God's people. It's together in the way that we love one another. We are stick together for all of our failings and all of our flaws, and we forgive, and we keep going. It's together that we reflect God and his glory.